I think, too, there's some human nature stuff going on here. The 4 human nature stages at the bottom of the page. I think for a lot of us, I'm gonna just ignore this for as long as I can. And I call this the pray for a miracle stage. Because sometimes somebody's going through a temporary slump, they pull themselves out of it. See, I didn't need to have that hard conversation. And sometimes they continue to deteriorate. Then I move to the second stage, my personal favorite, a few good heart-to-heart talks. This is the reason will prevail. If I just explain why, they'll change. This is how I discovered the 4 stages. When I was a new supervisor working for this city government out in Arizona, I was promoted from within, so I had to hire somebody to replace me. He was one of those 88% employees. 88% of the job was fine and dandy, 12% was horrible, and the 12% was his paperwork. So I ignored it for a while because he was new, and then I started having these few good heart-to-heart talks. I sat down and said, Dick, you've never worked for the government before, and our department is a luxury in city government, and they pay us really, really well, and we have jobs because we make the mayor and city council look good, and they know that because I write them a report every month. If I don't get your paperwork, I can't write the report, and we're all out of a job. This seems to be eminently logical. About the 3rd time we had this conversation, this is what the guy did. He leaned back in his chair and he said, I just don't know if this job is meeting my emotional needs. I threw that one day how to be a supervisor class out the window, and I says, listen, pal, I'm not here to meet your emotional needs. I'm here to pay you to do a flipping job. If you can't do it, your ass is out of here. Well, I forgot that I was working for the government. You can't get rid of anybody that way. And I ended up at the 3rd stage. This is where we beg, cajole, warn, or threaten. This is the pleading stage. And that almost never works, and we end up at the 4th stage where we discipline, transfer. They have an opening in warehouse. I think it'd just be perfect for you. I think you'd really do well in sales. Or we showing them this big thing in Lancaster County, force people to resign. We do what I did with Dick, supervise him so closely, and made his life so miserable that he quit. And I thought, happy ending. And then I discovered the 4th stage is the bleeding stage. It's bleeding for the employee because now they don't have a job, but it's bleeding for you as a supervisor for your team, because now you're shorthanded and you know how long it's going to take to fill that spot. The thing I never anticipated is bleeding for you as a supervisor. How many of you have been involved in firing somebody? Oh my God, it's like the worst thing you ever do, because you all are responsible people. That's why you have the jobs that you have. So when you have to fire somebody, you go through all that woulda, shoulda, coulda. Maybe if I talked to him a little bit earlier, if only I'd done it. Yeah, so I'm explaining these 4 stages a while back. And this one family-owned business with the owner sitting in the back of the room, well, those 4 stages are stupid. That won't work. I'm not suggesting this is what we should do. This is what we slide into because we're on autopilot. The alternative is to have very clear expectations, feedback, document, that we move through this in a very planful way.